Welcome back everyone. Today we have another sort of a run-of-the-mill job. We have an M3 Evo ECU, which we've got a bit of a problem. And this one, that's quite interesting as well. You see that label, the yellow label, you notice the VIN number on there? That means this is a replacement ECU. So this has been replaced by BMW at some stage. But when we flip it around, there we go, E36 M3 Evo S50 B32 1996, obviously 1976, coil driver number 4 cylinder. So I can smell this already, so I know that something's gone on. So let's open him up and have a look. And there we go. So that'll be him then. We can see a little bit of a melt there. Scorch mark around there, and I think that's even got some solder balls. Let me see if we can get a little bit more light over onto this. We can zoom in. Right, okay, yes, so if I can get a pair of tweezers in here. Where are we? There we go. There it is. Little blob of solder, and he's come out of, oh, there he is, he's still stuck on the tweezers, but there's another one there at the back. They've all come out of that hole there in the leg. There's some other solder, so I've got to make sure I got to, well, there we go, look, launching this fella around like playing football here. So got to be careful now of these little balls of solder, as we don't want them poking around. And say, for example, let's have a look at these processors. It wouldn't take much for a little solder ball to come over, sit between a couple of legs and short some stuff out. So we're going to have to give this a bit of a clean. But there certainly is our driver that's melted. So let's get a closer look at him now. Right, just want to do a quick check on the bottom as well, as sometimes some of the damage can travel through. So we are, oh, there we go. Right, that will be the fella. So it'll be that guy over there. There he is. Sorry, pointing to the wrong one. Look at that leg. So all the solder has come out of there. Oh, in fact, I've just seen where the solder is. Well, you want to look at this. So that's one of the reasons why I'd like looking at the bottom, because you can also see, I mean, see this little dust mark there, that would have been sitting on top of that capacitor as he was sitting like so. So if anything else is burnt, you often get a little scorch mark on the back of this to give you a clue what to look for. But yeah, have a look at this. So if is he going to focus? There we go, focus in. That's little ring of solder there is the solder that come off that leg, and he's kind of stuck. He's melted himself into the plastic, so he's come out of that little leg there. So it's got so hot, the solder, all of the solder has melted and just dropped straight off the bottom. Is he going to come off? Not really. Got him with a knife. Just spotted something else as well. Not that this is really an issue, but this diode over here, there's these 3 diodes. These are, I believe they're more for power control. So main constant power comes in through some of these. Switched ignition also comes in through some of these. And I believe this diode is so that switched ignition doesn't back feed out into your constant live. But I can see some traces of flux around there, so that's been hand soldered. So I wonder if this was either fixed up by BMW, or it failed some kind of checks or tests, or maybe it's been repaired by someone. Or I wonder if this was maybe something like a refurbished ECU, because obviously the sticker was selling us it is a replacement at some stage. Anyway, let's get back to the job at hand. Well, that's pretty obvious. So, yep, as expected, we can see that this, in fact, is that a, no, it's not a crack there, that's just a hair or something. But this leg, is he going to be loose? Well, he's loose where he goes through, but he's burnt a big hole out through there. And after that, you can just take chunks off. But I think the rest of this is okay, certainly compared to other ones that I've seen. So, I mean, as I've said, it could be a lot worse. So take a look at this thing. And you want to be sitting down before I take the lid off this, as I will do a good reveal this way. You want to see the state of this thing. Look at that. So in this one, in fact, wow, the smell of that is crazy. And look at all the burning you get around there and the smoke damage. So he would have gone shorted and putting a lot of current through there. And yeah, I'm sure there must have been flames and smoke and all sorts of stuff out of this. But yeah, and luckily the guy's ECU that he sent to me, it seems to be fairly easy with just that chip. So let's get that chip out and we'll see what we can do. So I'm just going to crack him off the back. So this is an insulator. These here, the back tabs, they would all be live. The case is grounded and they're pushed onto this insulator, but they do stick onto there. So there we go. So just a little bit of a twist to get him off there. You want to be careful you don't scratch a hole through that. And now we'll flip him over and get him unsoldered. Right, so there's our guy in the middle. Now, if I can really get this lead out the way, and we'll just get the solder out of these other two holes. So that's not too bad. It speeds up my job, as I've only got two to do rather, compared to all three. Right, so, oh, absolutely missed. We got a suck, but I don't think that got him. That one seemed pretty good. A little dab of flux just to help it move a bit better. And he's certainly loose. Oh, there we go. I heard him drop. And there he is. So, yeah, he's burnt out all around that leg. God knows what else has gone on, but doesn't seem to have done too much damage to the rest of the board. So what we better do now, swap him off for a new one. Stick him back in. Alright, this is an old dead board I've got. I mentioned this before in a video, and we still have a few of the ignition coil chips. So what I'll do is I'll rub one of these, and we'll get these into it. So there's our new guy, Mr. R3616. He's going to be going in instead. So yeah, it is a different brand, but again, these are both Siemens ECUs, and I have seen these, what was it, STP 5000 or something. I can't remember now what they were, but you would see them being used in other ones. So I know that in the MS41s, you could have these chips or you could have these chips, and they both work the same. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give these legs a bit of a clean up for their the excess bit of solder around them, and then we're going to stick them in. So I've given them a bit of a clean up now, and you can certainly see things in a lot better. But I don't like the way that via is sitting up a little bit proud. So this particular one here, this would have been just the ground. So if I go onto the chassis, you can hear that beep. This leg, beep. This leg, beep. All of these were grounded. So this isn't anything special, and it is still doing pretty well. We only show sort of half an ohm resistance, but half an ohm resistance through a multimeter could be a lot different to having half an ohm with a couple of 100 amps trying to go down it. So what I probably will do is patch another wire onto that and just give it an extra auxiliary ground as well. So let's get this chip in anyway. Right, our new one. And there we go, just a bit of solder now. So there's our new guy in now, and I've gone through and I've looked around and I've given a bit of a clean up for any other little errant solder balls hanging around that come out of that when that melted. So we'll get the plastics back on, stick him on Diagnostics and check and see how he's doing. So he's hooked up now, hit the power, input, always forget to pump up the brightness, and now we will want to go to engine, 6-cylinder Siemens, MSS 50, and that's all good. Fault read, and we have, so that is coil 4, which is what we'd expect. So let me point you there where you can actually see the thing. So coil 4, we have tank ventilation valve, oil level sensor. That one is, that's injector number 4. So that has been around for half an hour and it has been seen a few times. Throttle potentiometer, and these are the other bits and pieces that aren't plugged in at the moment. So let's give it a quick shot now. If we can clear. And see what's coming up. So that seems pretty happy. So maybe we're good at that. And there's our little auxiliary ground on. Now it's highly unlikely that it needs it, but because I don't see the ground plane turning up on this side and I don't see it turning up over here at the bottom of, there is this leg, I don't see any connections on the top of this. That means that connection on the ground is somewhere in the middle of that multi-layer board, and it might have had a bit of heat damage. So I'm just going to spread that on, so at least it patches its ground over to the neighbouring connector, and that'll do it. So again, probably not needed. I don't normally tend to do anything like that, but when I've seen that sort of wire looks like it's lifting up a little bit, I don't know if he's getting loose, and I don't know exactly where he connects. And although he's showing, again, he was showing 0.5 ohm, and that 0.5 ohm is mostly the resistance in my own leads. It's the kind of thing that one of these tiny little traces here will show 0.5 ohm, when you'll be probably wanting, I don't know if we can see some, you could probably just about make out, see underneath there, there's a shadow, which is about 3 mil wide. That's some of these thicker traces that take the high current stuff. In fact, I think we can see maybe over just down in here. Yeah, over in that corner, you can see some of these thicker traces. So you'll have thicker traces for higher current, and because there can be a fair bit of current going down these things, and I don't know the condition of the rest of that, it's probably best just do that extra little bit of pieces of a connection there and keep him going. And there he is. So that's our M3 Evo ECU fixed, ready to stick him back together and send him off to the customer. So there we go, job done. So I would say, again, this is going to be a tier 1 difficulty. That's pretty easy. You don't need any particular special training. Soldering iron and just the spare parts, and I'm sure it's the kind of thing anyone can do. So there we go. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.